Okay, so what do you think about that writing?
Interesting because you get beads, and beads are something that's like interesting because they have like little balls in them.
Okay, and so what was the topic that they needed to write on?
Mardi Gras is interesting because.
Okay, so why is Mardi Gras interesting? What makes Mardi Gras interesting? So if their response is Mardi Gras is interesting because you get beads, how would you score that writing?
Mardi Gras is interesting because you get beads. Like I know because.
Okay, so what does this writer have? What is sticking with you?
Mardi Gras is interesting because.
So what is that?
Because they didn't answer the question, text evidence or something.
So what do they have?
Only restate the question.
Okay, so they have restate, and then it also said because you get beads. So what would that be? Okay, so they have the R and they have the what? Okay, so what's sticking out with you that you could tell this person that would improve their writing? What feedback could you give this person? What could you tell them to add that would help them get a better grade on this writing?
Like more text evidence and more self-correction.
Okay, so write that down. So on your sticky note, you're going to write what?
More text evidence and more self-correction.
Okay.
Think about Mary's story, Mary's Mardi Gras, and the Passion celebrating Mardi Gras. What makes Mardi Gras interesting?
Okay, so the answer says it is interesting because they throw stuffed animals. So why is that not clear?
Because it wasn't inside of one of those stories.
Well, so I understand that they're using, so it sounds like they're not using text evidence because it's not in the story. So they need to use more text evidence. Okay, so you can write more text evidence. So, but what I think the question that I'm asking you guys is, can they leave it is interesting because if I was not in this class and I didn't see that writing question, the prompt, how would I know what is interesting? If they said it is interesting, what is it?
The stuffed animal.
They're saying the stuffed animal is interesting?
Yes.
It says it is interesting because they throw stuffed animals. Who's they? Who is it and who is they?
The parade.
Okay. So you know that because you wrote on this topic. But if I was reading this, would I know what they're talking about? So what should they have used in their restate?
Who threw the stuff?
The question is, what makes Mardi Gras interesting? So you can't say it is interesting because. You have to say what?
Mardi Gras is interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. So they didn't include the specific topic either, right? Okay, thank you.
Interesting because you get beads. What that? It needs text evidence and self-connection. Yeah. Yeah, but dude. Let's do. It needs text evidence. It needs text evidence.
Okay, so why does it need text evidence?
Because it just has restate the question.
Okay, so why is it important that this writer include text evidence? If you're going to tell them they need text evidence, you should be able to tell them why, right? We need to know why we use text evidence. So what kind of feedback can you give your friends, your classmates, to make this writing better, to make them a stronger writer? What was the writing that they gave? What was the answer they gave?
Mardi Gras is interesting because you get beads.
Okay, so what stuck out with you? What did they do?
They did RNA.
Okay, so they restated the question and they gave a answer. So next you said they need text evidence. Why? Why is it important for them to have text evidence?
Because you need details.
You need details, okay. Because more details do what for the writing?
It makes it perfect.
Makes it better. Paints a picture for the reader. All right. And so what else did they need besides text evidence?
Self-connection.
They need a self-connection. And why is it important to have a self-connection?
So it can be a whole rat.
Yeah, well, we want a whole rats, but why? We do rats for a reason.
So the reader
knows that it's closing.
Okay, so the reader knows that your writing is finished, that it's closing, that's right. And it also makes a what when we have a self-connection?
It tells what you do.
Yeah, it gives the reader a personal experience. So it makes the writing more believable, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and write your stuff.
In both of them, it said Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, beans. It's knows because when I was in the fifth grade,
So what was the topic that they needed to write on?
Fat Tuesday.
Okay, they didn't say what Mardi Gras means. Yeah.
Say that to the camera. What did you discover?
They didn't say what Mardi Gras meant.
Okay, so maybe they could have restated the question a little bit better. Okay, do you all agree on that? Okay, so that might be some feedback you could write on there, and you could write that and stick it to it. What stuck out to you guys on this?
They should have put another topic.
Okay, so how could you word that to help them with feedback?
The most interesting things were.
Okay, so you think they need to restate the question a little bit differently? Okay, you can write that down and stick it on there? Okay, so what are you thinking about this writing?
It doesn't have self-connection.
Okay,
They didn't finish their sentence.
okay. Anything else, guys?
I know something.
Okay.
They didn't put 2 more text evidence.
Okay,
They only put 1.
okay. So what could you word on the little sticky that would help them out with their feedback to make it better next time?
You can put more text put self-connection.
Okay. Are you all in agreement with that? Needs self-connection? Okay. What did y'all discover about this writing?
More text evidence, self-connection.
Okay. You think that's going to help the writer become a better writer? Okay, you guys gave some academic feedback that the writer did not write what Mardi Gras meant. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Because they wrote it meant, but they didn't write what it meant. Yes.
Okay. So how could they have done that better?
Once after they wrote it meant, they could have wrote what it meant. Yes.
Okay. So is it a complete sentence?
No.
Okay, you guys said that writer needs to have self-connection. Can you give me a sample of what a good self-connection might be for that? What was his topic that he wrote about? Or her topic?
How would I know a fat ox?
So how could he do or she do a self-connection on a fat ox?
Maybe you've seen the fat ox?
Maybe they've seen a fat ox?
I've seen a fat ox.
Okay. Anything else?
I remember one time whenever an ox pulled me on a wagon.
Okay. Okay.
You know. Okay, so what stuck out?
Focusing on rats. What stuck out in this writing for you?
Okay, so they restated the question and they gave an answer. So next.
Anything?
I think they did all rats.
Okay, so you believe they used all of rats. Okay. Is there anything that maybe could be improved on?
They didn't really say what Mardi Gras meant.
Okay. So what do you think that means they could put in their writing?
More self-connection.
More self-connection? Okay. Can you write down an idea of how they can put more of a self-connection in there? Talk about that. What do you guys think would be a better idea for a self-connection?
Because Mary's Mardi Gras, they catch beads and coins. And when I was at a big parade, I catched beads and coins.
I catch 2 coins.
And lots of beads.
Okay, so maybe describe something from one of the readings to connect to.
Stuffed animals.
Okay.
He said they need to restate the question, letter, and answer.
Okay. So the question says, what makes Mardi Gras interesting? How did they write?
They said, I know from the text the traditional rating that ox.
Okay.
That started with text evidence, but they didn't do RNA.
Okay. Tell me about what you guys discovered from this writing.
They just did RA.
They just did RA and then we did text evidence.
Okay.
And they needed self-connection, but we decided just to put text evidence because they put self-connection. We don't want to put the same thing.
Okay.
It doesn't really make any sense. They only did text evidence. They didn't even restate our answer. It's not about Mardi Gras. It's about an ox.
Yeah. It's just
But still about Mardi Gras. It's not on topic. So you just need
Wait, Ryan, what were you going to say?
I was saying that it's still about Mardi Gras because in the text it said that in the past oxes used to pull little wagons and then they used to do something else.
Okay, so he is or she is bringing in some text evidence. But what?
Yeah, but there's no self-connection, there's no restating question, and there's no answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's text evidence.
It's only text evidence.
All they wrote was text evidence.
Okay. So what could you tell them to do better?
Use text evidence. Use all of rats. Use all of rats.
Okay.
Need to do text evidence. You need self-connection. They said Mardi Gras is interesting because you get beads. They restated the question and answered it, but they didn't do text evidence and self-connection.
Okay. So what academic feedback did you guys give that writer to make it better?
Text evidence and self-connection.
Okay. Why would they need text evidence and a self-connection in there?
Because that's using all the parts of rats. All they did was Mary's Mardi Gras is interesting.
Okay. So if they follow, why is it important to follow all of rats?
Because that's
What does that do for a writer to follow all of rats?
because
What does it do to your writing if you follow all the steps in rats?
it makes your writing better.
And what's our goal?
To get at least 3 text evidence.
Okay. To make some good writing, some great writing.